Dear colleagues, I would like to present the results of the study on focusing restrictive adverb just in Middle and Early Modern English corpora. As a focus marker, in modern English, just can be used as an exclusive meaning only, example 1, or as a particularizer in the sense of exactly, example 2. The research is aimed at identifying grammaticalization cline for Middle and Early Modern English focus and adverb just, applying information structural analysis to corpus data based on the Discourse Representation Theory and Cesax software model. It allows eliciting several types of contexts in the text fragments: discourse, encyclopedic, situational, and scenario context. The core idea of the framework is to track whether the DP is a new discourse referent or not. Each discourse referent is tagged on the given new plane, taking into account the extended annotation scheme, table 1. Labeling all the relevant constituents for the information status presupposes employing coreference resolution, which shows whether the DP refers back to another element. The computer software Cesax enables to resolve coreference semi-automatically, and the automatic search is enriched with the possibility to ask the user input in ambiguous cases. The search algorithm for new given information detection is summarized on the slide. With the commencement of the coreference resolution process, the software automatically determines as many anaphoric links as possible, so yellow window in figure 2. However, once a solution corresponds to the one of the built-in suspicious situations, Cesax stops to ask for the user's decision. After this process, the informational status of individual linguistic expressions is further identified in terms of topic and focus marking. Table 2 summarizes the text applied to the analysis of this type of dichotomy. The above-mentioned methodology allows complex tagging of clause components in parts corpora. The patterns with adverb just are retrieved from 2 diachronic corpora: Corpus of Middle English Prose and Verse, and Early English Books Online. After automated search, examples with just are manually checked based on the context to differentiate adverbial and other parts of speech senses. In case of just functioning as an adverb, I specifically consider its meaning to check when it acquires a particularizer or exclusive function. This step of the analysis is based on the question under discussion method. Corpus data are aimed at checking the following hypotheses. The cline for adverb just grammaticalization in English presupposes its initial functioning as an adjective, polysemous adverb, particularizer, and then exclusive adverb. The form. Middle English corpus data show that the forms of just and yest entered Middle English approximately in 1300s. They are most frequently used adjectively, while the nominal form appears to be the least frequent one. Hence, based on frequency figures, the form of just but not used is more prone to categorical shifts and develops into dominant adverbial spelling variant in further centuries of the English language evolution. The analysis of the 2 forms in Early English Books Online, presented in figures 5 and 6, justifies this speculation. So the form of just is becoming more often employed in the text starting from 1600s. Meaning, according to the tokens retrieved from Middle English corpus, adverbial meaning of just arises in 1417s, presumably from the adjective jester. To speculate on the transformation of adjective into adverb, a special reference should be made to some examples from Middle English corpus, where this form gets a double reading due to the post-modifying placement of the adjective, and only the contextual analysis and the knowledge of the clause structure specifics helps differentiate adverbial and adjectival senses. The early stages of such transformations involve metaphorical abstractions. This hypothesis finds evidence in Ehrman, who claims that just, in the meaning of exactly, has been derived from the adjective with the meaning fair, correct, precise. Overall entries of adverb just elicited from Middle English corpus indicate that the dominant particularized meaning is associated with the notion of exactness. So the major senses are distributed as follows: in exact or accurate manner, fitting snugly, and immediately. Early modern English findings from early English books online are analyzed in terms of frequency while rendering the adverbial meaning with reference to every decade up to 1650s. The analysis of tokens with just in the years from 1500s to 1550s points to their gradual increase in usage per million words, reaching the figure of 121 in 1550s. The ratio for just functioning as an adverb rises to 4.38% and also demonstrates adverbial meaning extension, which can be seen in Table 6. It testifies to the development of polysemantic sense of the adverbs with its dominant particularized function exactly precisely. The meaning of amount and time can also be interpreted as right in the sense of exactly. The next time frame shows a significant decline in the meaning of exactly manner, whilst the number of examples with just emphasizing the amount and time doubles. Moreover, a new function arises that is modifying degree and comparison. The distribution for 1600s, 1650s, Table 8, shows the abrupt drop of the sense justly, while the particularized meaning becomes dominant. Another interesting feature for this period is the emergence of just in the exclusive function. Therefore, grammaticalization cline for just appears as hypothesized with exclusive sense just arising after 1620s. Information structure. Based on information actualization, the following word orders are considered with the tokens retrieved, see on the slide. The investigation of this time frame is aimed at highlighting the general tendencies of Middle English period due to limited statistics. Thus, just in the post position to the element it is adjacent to tends to be used when the preceding component represents new information and emphatic focus. In such instances, just functions as a particularizer, meaning fitting snugly or immediately. The word order pattern SVO just X is registered with X element tagged as situationally accessible information and identificational focus. The clauses with inverted word orders are represented by isolated examples in the entire Middle English corpus. The analysis of word order for every time span in early Middle English shows that mostly just is represented in the patterns where it modifies XPs that follow the verb. The regularity is already dominant for 1500s, 1550s. Figure 7 demonstrates that the post-modifying placement of just in the clauses where the adverb is adjacent to XPs conveying new information and emphatic focus. Constructions SVO just X where X element constructions SVO just X where X element represents new information and informational focus are typical of just as a particularizer, marking the amount of time and very rarely location. Whereas with the same adverb highlighting given and situationally accessible information and identificational focus, the tendency is reverse and XPs pertain to specification of location and action, so 51% in total. The years 1550s, 1600s testifies to the adverb greater positional variability, especially for just in post-modifying placement. In all these cases, the information marked by just is represented as new, referring to emphatic focus. Significantly, the number of instances with post-modifying just triples in this period, which is not the distinctive feature of the next 50-year time frame, since the share of the rigid SVO order rises to 84% with just in a pre-modifying position following either the verb or the object. The time frame of 1600s, 1650s displays a slight reduction of the ratio of marking new information and informational focus in the SVO pattern, with the redistribution in favor of given information and identificational focus. This fact is evidenced as the crystallization of the particularizer function of just. The ratio of clauses where the element marked by just renders emphatic focus significantly arises for both 1550s, 1600s, and 1600s, 1650s timeframes, with just predominantly occupying the first position in the sentence, causing inverted word order. Quantitative and qualitative data allow assuming that adverb just, firstly registered in 1617s, originates from the adjective due to ambiguous reading in the records prior to this date. It is assumed that it's not until 1500s that just goes through the grammaticalization process, extending its original Middle English sense, with the significant rise of the adverbial component in 1600s, 1650s. Thus, its initial meaning of exactly or precisely is enriched with further specialization of the particularizer functions, while its exclusive sense, typical of the present-day English only, becomes evident after 1600s. The corpus analysis by means of coreference resolution annotation tools allows investigating word order and information structure correlation with reference to focus and just, which major function by 1650s becomes marking the identificational focus and situationally accessible or given information, which is typical of an adverbial particularizer in modern times. This fact provides further evidence for adverb grammaticalization. Thank you for your attention.